Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of 18 Minutes with 180 Markets. Friends, you very well know by now that we love to invest into companies that are really at that turning point in the business. They're really getting that business momentum that's going to carry them from here and through the future. That's right. And that's why I'm so glad today to be joined by Steph Winwood of BluGlass, because BluGlass makes incredible lasers that are really powering the backbone of our technology. And they're going to talk all about it and figure out where do we go from here. And there's also some very exciting developments within the laser and in the semiconductor space that it's a little bit too technical for me, but Steph is going to explain all about it. And with that background, Steph, welcome to 18 Minutes with 180 Markets.
Thank you so much for having me this morning. It's great to be here.
Great. Hey, Steph, everybody's got a story. Can you just tell us in a couple of minutes about yourself?
Sure. So, my name's Steph. I'm the Investor Relations Manager and Head of Corporate Communications at BluGlass. I've been part of the BluGlass team for a long time, and my background has always been in deep technology. I love to work with brands that are doing really audacious things. And BluGlass definitely fits that bill. The technology and the team that we work with at BluGlass are really world leading. So I really love my role.
Excellent, excellent. And BluGlass, as we said, it's really powering this new economy through technology. But I don't think people necessarily understand lasers because let's face it, we don't see it in our everyday lives visibly anyway. So can you just explain a little bit about the BluGlass product, the lasers that you make?
Yeah, sure. So you're right. We don't really think that we don't know much about lasers necessarily in Australia. We don't really think about it. But in actual fact, lasers underpin all advanced technologies and all advanced industries today. So, we're interacting right now on a computer that would have been made in large parts with lasers. You don't create satellite communications or anything like that without being able to use lasers. So lasers are definitely powering many global megatrends around the world, from space exploration, autonomous navigation, and electrification, digitalization, and quantum computing. So lasers are an important part of technology today, but they're going to become a much more important part as we evolve.
Right. And speaking of becoming even more important, can you just talk about the laser market and specifically the GaN laser and how does BluGlass fit into that space?
Yeah, sure. So the laser market, end market, is actually really huge. So it's a $25 billion market. But actually the lasers that BluGlass is focused on is called gallium nitride lasers. So they're actually the lasers that span the visible wavelength, wavelengths. So from like violet light through to green. And they're a much newer technology because it's been very, very hard to do. So it's a new market that's emerging. And that will be worth about $2.5 billion, that market, in 2025. So it's newer, but it's growing very rapidly because it has unique advantages over traditional infrared and invisible lasers.
Right. And what are the end markets that these GaN lasers serve?
Yeah, so BluGlass is in particular interested in about 5 different verticals. So the main verticals for us are things like industrial manufacturing. So that's materials processing, 3D printing, not like your 3D printing for plastics that you might think of in your home shop, but things like 3D printing, parts for aerospace, defense, cars, all that kind of thing. It's also used in industrial welding for copper and gold because blue light is much more absorbed than infrared light. So it means that we can create much smaller, finer, higher precision welding. So that enables things like, your semiconductor chips to get smaller and smaller and that kind of thing as well. So we're also very interested in the quantum computing and scientific applications. Biotech, medical applications are very important. There's also display. So AR, VR display technology will probably move away from micro LEDs and into lasers, which is what we've been told by the industry. And then we're also interested in the defense. So a lot of things like advanced navigation, communications, that kind of thing as well.
Right. So in a nutshell, we know that devices are getting smaller, faster with more capabilities, and that's really where BluGlass fits in.
Yeah, absolutely. So gallium nitride lasers will enable a lot of that advanced manufacturing to get higher precision. So it's not just changing the way things are made, it's actually changing the things that can be made. So it will enable a lot of technologies, which is why that market is set to grow so rapidly. And BluGlass is in a very privileged position because there's actually only a very small handful of suppliers globally who can provide gallium nitride lasers, and we are one of the ones that are dedicated. So this is all we do. We are focused 100% on GaN lasers.
Got it. And look, in the expression in life, timing is everything. BluGlass right now, it is your time. Can you just talk about the business? There have been a lot of hard yards getting everything set up, the manufacturing facilities and everything like that. But can you just talk about where we are right now, as far as especially around the commercialization stage?
Yeah, sure. We're one of the very few semiconductor companies in Australia, and in fact, we're probably one of the only listed vertically integrated semiconductor companies. So it has a very different kind of commercialization journey to some other stocks that might be on the ASX. But yeah, we're very lucky that right now we're in a position where we can leverage our deep gallium nitride expertise, which we've gained over the last decade. We also have unique deposition technology in the world, so we can grow GaN different to anybody else in the world. And we had many customers coming to us wanting a dedicated laser supplier, and we didn't have that downstream manufacturing capability. So the last 18 months for BluGlass has been really transformational. We went out to the industry, we brought in veteran laser industry experts and also pioneers. We added them to our board, we added them to our management, and through those connections and things, we've completely transformed the business. We've focused 100% on lasers. We've acquired a manufacturing facility over in Silicon Valley, which means that we can take our epitaxy, what we do here in Australia, which is grow the materials on wafers, and then do all the downstream processing in-house in our facility in Silicon Valley to provide those products direct to customer. So that's been hugely transformational for the business, bringing all of those supply steps, which are very complicated, time consuming. So going from, turning products around in months to being able to do it in weeks and increase cycles of learning and also increase revenue capacity and stuff. It's been very, game changing for the business. And we've just launched our first products to market earlier this year. So it's definitely been a very exciting few months for the business.
Right, and I get to what you've just launched, but so in short, you do have what I call the PPI, people, process, and infrastructure. The new team, you've got that process down, and you've got the infrastructure. You control your own destiny with Piedmont facility.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what BluGlass needed to do. We needed to be in a position to control our own destiny and work directly with customers to launch products to market. Yeah.
Great. And Steph, we just touched on it, or you touched on it about 30 seconds ago. There have been some recent trade shows that have really validated your company, frankly. Can you just talk about them? Because this is really an exciting inflection point.
Yeah, it is. So we were very lucky to launch, it was very exciting to launch products at Photonics West, which is a huge photonics conference in the US. So it attracts about 25,000 people from all around the world, all focused
as you do
making. Thank you. Now that COVID's over, it's brought people back in the room, which is much nicer than trying to join these trade shows virtually. And what's really great about meeting with the industry is that when we're at these trade shows, it's our prospective customers and our customers coming to us and telling us why they need us. And we've been going to these shows over the last few years while we've been developing products, and that has really provided the validation of how we were going to address their unmet needs, how we were going to have products immediately that they wanted. And I think that's been demonstrated by going to these shows and having customer orders coming in so quickly.
Right. And customer orders obviously translate into financials, which is shareholders as us. That's what we want. Can you just talk about what would the revenue stream look like potentially over the next 24 months?
Yeah, sure. So BluGlass at the moment, we are, providing initial orders to customers, right? So the revenue from these initial orders is immaterial because it is a process of validating our products now that we've put them through the reliability testing and are giving them to customers. Now our customers have to validate these in their application. This is a very standard requirement in the semiconductor industry for new products and new suppliers. So that means that while these orders are immaterial, and we'll be working with lots of customers to provide this validation, this will eventually lead to repeat orders, volume orders, and large supply agreements being agreed with these customers. So there is a journey now for BluGlass from translating these initial small orders into volume orders, but that's definitely something that the business is looking to be sustainable and profitable in the next 3 years or so.
Right. So these are almost like the pilot programs I would refer to it as. But also, is it fair to say that once you're in with them, say it takes 24 months, just hypothetically, this is incredibly sticky and recurring type of income? Because if it takes 24 months, I mean, my gosh, they're not going to necessarily switch overnight anyway.
Exactly. Yes, we definitely see this as sticky and recurring revenue, right? Our customers are telling us that they are not able to get the form factors that they need out of the current suppliers, and that is hugely impactful on their business, right? So it limits what they can do with their end products, and it also makes it extremely costly for them to undertake all of this post-packaging integration in their products, right? So we're working directly with our customers to provide what we call the easiest to use laser light, right? And so yes, we absolutely want to be the partner of choice for all of our customers. But the reality is that the market is really growing, and its growth is being entirely constrained by the fact that the two largest players in the market right now are very large volume players focused on the LED and micro LED markets. So it's actually quite difficult and expensive for them to switch the machines over to the smaller runs that are required for lasers, which have lots more steps and more complicated. Whereas it's quite easy for us. We've built our business to be agile and fully focused on this. So yes, we absolutely see, the news that we want to have coming through the business is validating these products in customer orders, creating supply agreements, bringing in partnerships, also potentially bringing forward some of our advanced roadmaps with customers so that they will actually pay to bring some of our advanced stuff earlier in our roadmap and bring that to market earlier. So creating some of those revenue generating partnerships in the business as well.
Right. Now, I assume effectively sharing the cost burden with you a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Hey, Steph, in your mind, for the next 12 to 18 months, what are the big catalysts, or are they what you just described there, these signing these agreements and so forth? But what should investors look for out of BluGlass?
Yeah, I definitely think that those are validating products with customer applications is going to be a big catalyst for the business, right? That will be a big indicator that what we have produced, our customers agree with us, right? So that'll be a really important catalyst. Creating customer supply agreements and really expediting our commercialization into the market, a really important catalyst for the business going forward. We want to be growing our order book, bringing on new customers, and working with some of the big names in the industry too.
Got it. And also, can I ask, with your facilities in the United States, is that considered now a big positive with, let's face it, there is more sovereign risk in the world today than there was, 36 months ago?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So our two main competitors, one is Japanese owned and the other is German owned. So being an Australian US company already places us in quite a very positive position for us for some of those manufacturing sovereignty things, because gallium nitride lasers are very important for defense applications, communications applications, autonomous vehicles, and that kind of thing. So we do see that as a strategic asset.
Yeah, for sure. And for people that don't know, I believe in the United States, a lot of times the Department of Defense will not even buy products that are from what they deem to be high risk nations.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Hey, Steph, unfortunately, we have to keep the interview short, but If there were a couple of points you want every investor to know about BluGlass, what would they be?
Um, I think it's really important to know that while you might not think about lasers in your day-to-day life, you do actually interact with them a lot. They're underpinning all advanced industries and technology today. And gallium nitride lasers will become the most important segment in the laser segment. And today there are only a very small handful of suppliers, and BluGlass is one of them. And we want to see this business become, the supplier of choice in the industry and a market share player in what is a really exciting growing market.
Great. Steph, thank you so much. Again, we think that the company is right at that tipping point, if you will. Really great things to come. You've already done a lot of the hard work. There's more to come. But surely, as you said, the marketplace, it's really growing exponentially at this point.
It is. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks, Steph, as always.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching another episode of 18 Minutes with 180 Markets. And don't forget, if you want access to thousands of capital raises, sign up at 180markets.com.au and you'll get access to our very next capital raise. Thanks for watching.